Are you ready for part 3 of the interview? You ready to run a gun? It's time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Let's go ahead and go with part 3 of the interview. Let's do it.
We have people that buy full runs of various baits that we've discontinued. We just sold a whole run of the Fuse.
Really?
4.4 in a color. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. We do it probably 5 or 6 times a year. People.
What's your minimum? 10,000
10,000 pieces. Yeah.
to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because they got to change everything around and.
For the manufacturer, it's not our. It's their minimum.
So Mr. Twister's gotten out to where they're using. They subbed a lot of their pouring to like people with garages that have. Where they can hand pour stuff and things like that. So they've actually moved a lot of their manufacturing to people like that locally that can do it, which I thought was interesting. And Slider's done the same thing too. They use people locally to pour a lot of their orange.
That's interesting.
They stay busy as well.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was kind of strange. Of course, they're also still small companies,
Yeah.
the same way you are.
Yeah.
Mr. Twister has been around, we've known for
Forever.
60 years almost, and they're still a hole-in-the-wall company.
Yep.
Which I think that's awesome, because that's what keeps it real,
Right.
basically, with other people. I mean, that's what I like about small companies, because they don't do things for you like that, 10,000 at a time. Sounds like a lot of money, but hey, you're getting a custom color or whatever that nobody else has.
That's right.
And
Whatever people want. I mean, whether you're Walmart or you're Walter from down the street, we try to be able to accommodate you.
And you don't sell to Walmart either, do you?
Yeah, we've sold to Walmart for years.
Oh, have you? Okay. I've never seen Missile Base and Walmart around here.
We don't do direct business. We sell through distribution. Historically, is what we've done. But I mean, whoever wants to buy it, we'll sell it to them.
I've seen them at Sportsman's Warehouse too, and I'm sort of thinking, how many trips around the country has these plastics gone before they get on the shelves over here when it's a 20-minute drive?
It's funny because with Sportsman's, we send some to distribution, we've sent some direct, and then we've had a couple orders that they come over here and pick them up from across town.
Oh, to carry that store over there.
Yep, we've actually had them delivered, hand delivered over there before.
Wow.
So it's kind of funny. Every means possible, we'll sell them to whoever, however.
And Sportsman's is sad too, because I don't know if how long it's been since you've been in there, but their tackle department's almost gone.
They've redone it.
Yeah,
they've redone it just like in the last month.
Shrunk it big time.
No, they've redone it and it's not better.
You think so?
I haven't been over there, but our content guy, he went over there like a week or two ago, and he was like blown away at how much good tackle and more tackle that they had gotten back in there.
Because they used to have a one whole wall that was Zoom, and now they just have an aisle.
Yeah,
which is the
it's not the same as it was as however many years ago, but he said that it went down for a while and then now it's back. They have a new buyer at corporate, so they have a new lure buyer, and he's changed a lot of things, and it just takes time to implement all that stuff.
Because I can still close my eyes right now and tell you exactly what Mel had on the wall.
Yeah.
At the store. I mean, exactly how he had it arranged.
Yeah.
I can still close my eyes and remember all that. And it's funny how he would put the V&M needleworms all the way in the back corner in that one wall, hidden from everybody else. And so you just didn't see it when you walked in. You had to know it was there. You walked over there, and there's always a big hole in the wall where the black grape was sitting. Because he could not keep those things in. That was a hot worm back in those days. I don't know if it would do it now, but back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was the deal, man. Black grape needleworm. Now I think there'll be another one like that again. That was awesome.
Yep.
So just out of curiosity, how long did it take you to actually grow this? As far as when you first started, how long did it take for it to take off?
So when we started, it was January of 2012. And because I'd been fishing full time for basically almost 8 years prior to that, I had a lot of friends and made a lot of acquaintance in the industry. So when the second that we were open in that January of 2012, we had 5 dealers. Tackle Warehouse was one of our first dealers. Susquehanna Fishing Tackle was one of our first 5 dealers. Green Top Sporting Goods was one of our first 5 dealers. Dave's Tournament Tackle was one of our first five
yeah.
dealers. And and Mark's Outdoors in Alabama. Iconic tackle shop, from across the country. Those 5 places took all 40 of our first SKUs. All 40 of them.
Wow.
So when we started basically on the map, as far as.
Was that because of what you were doing with Spro?
Just the stuff that I had met the guys from Tackle Warehouse through Spro and through some other companies that I was working with. I had worked the Mark's Outdoors tournament for like the previous 4 or 5 years, so I knew about half the entire staff that worked at Mark's Outdoors.
Right.
I went to college 5 miles from Green Top, so I knew about half the people that worked in there, like on a first name basis. And I had already worked a handful of open houses and things up there, so they knew. Like I had those relationships. Same thing with George and Mike Acord at Susquehanna. Yeah, I just knew them from working with other companies, and they're just good guys in general. So they went ahead and took a shot. So it was just kind of cool. And I knew Dave Farrington from Dave's Tournament Tackle, just from all the shows, working the Richmond show and the Raleigh show over the years. Just relationships, that's how it started.
I just figured you might have had issues with companies basically saying, or dealers saying, oh great, another solid plastic company. That's really what we need. A lot of times you hear stuff like that.
That's what they said. They're like, you know what, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
So when we started, we had that going. Our very first Bassmaster Classic was in the February, and in Louisiana. So we went all the way to Louisiana. I was fishing in it. We had Shannon and the other guys that were going down there. I think Mike Burchett went down there for that one. Went down there. They were set up. We had a guy come by. His name was Chris Graham. At the time he worked for a company called Maurice, who's a big distributor. He said, man, this is a really cool new tackle company. I knew John fishing the tournament and all that. He said, here's my card. Tell him to call me next week. So I called him next week. He said, man, we're gonna go pitch this your product to a couple companies that we deal with. Dick's Sporting Goods is one of these companies, and we're going to meet with them next month. All right, cool. So the next month rolls around. The Elite Series is on Okeechobee. First day of the tournament, Ish is flipping a D-bomb and catches 35 pounds. He knows that nobody else in the whole field has it, so he gets right up on stage. He said, yeah, I caught every one of these on a Missile Baits D-bomb. I know nobody else in the field has any, so that's what I caught him on. And
wow.
The next day, Chris goes into that meeting with the guys from Dick's Sporting Goods. He lays that package out on the table, and the guys at Dick's Sporting Goods go, oh, yeah, that's the Missile Baits. That's that D-bomb that Ish was talking about yesterday. And the guys were like, wait, what? You know about this? He goes, yeah, Ish Monroe caught 35 pounds on it yesterday. He's leading the Bassmaster Elite Series at Okeechobee. Yeah, let me see these. Oh, these are good. Yeah, they're like, we'll put them in 50 stores. And then the next day they called him back and said, no, we'll put it in 100 stores. He's like, okay, cool.
Wow.
This is great. They called him back 2 weeks later and said, no, we're going to put it in 200 stores. So then we got the PO for putting in, Missile Baits in 200 Dick's stores, Dick's Sporting Goods stores. So that was we got that. That was in March, so we shipped that I think in May. So 5 months into doing business, we're in 200 Dick's stores, and in Tackle Warehouse and all these other places. So it was it took off pretty quick.
Well, you mentioned Spro. The very first time I ever saw a Spro. Now this is before the internet was big and everything. You may remember Charles had a tackle shop at Waterwheel, and he had. This is back in 98, 99, and he set it back up as a restaurant and everything. Yep. And on the far wall, he had all this tackle set up there. And that's the very first time I'd ever seen a Spro. It was the Prime 25 crankbait.
Yep.
And I remember seeing it, and I saw the price, and I'm just going, oh my gosh. But that's also the very first time I ever saw an EWG Kamikatsu treble hook as well. Never seen those before. And I just found that was really interesting. That was my introduction to Spro. And of course, I don't have them anymore, but if you go on eBay, you can pay for them. But I just thought that was interesting, and I think that was the only one they had for quite a while before
they had a couple crankbaits and a couple jerk baits before they brought in people to help them design.
Yeah, that's also the first time I ever saw a Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my buddy was telling me, he says, "You gonna spend $25 on a popper? I thought you was a Rebel pop art guy." I said, "I am, but it's $25. It's got to do something." Oh, where the paint off of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all that I saw at Charles when he had that up there. So I figured you probably remember that place.
Yeah, sure do.
And of course, I don't even think Water Wheel's even open anymore now, is it?
No.
That's a shame. But because I grew up right across the channel from on the Coast Guard property. That's where I grew up at. Literally on the weekends, every weekend, because my dad was in the Coast Guard on that thing. But yeah, that's the first time I ever saw Spro. So that name always kind of stuck with me as I watched things develop. But they just never really went anywhere with the crankbaits until they got with you, I guess. And
got with Dean, and then later they brought in McClellan for the jerk baits, and then the rock crawlers and all that kind of stuff. So.
Rolling for the lipless crankbaits they made.
Yep.
He'd help us.
He wanted that Ariku to stand up on the bottom.
I wonder how many patents that guy owns.
I don't know.
Because Roland's a genius. I mean, he really is.
He's come up with some stuff. He patented the weedless wedge prop, and no telling how many they sold in Kodum.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's just.
So now basically all the props look similar to the one that he designed 30, 40
years ago. Do you patent your baits?
Mm-mm. Okay. No. There's different types of there's design patents and functional patents. Functional patents cost at least $10,000 to have done, and you need to have something that's functionally patentable in order to have it to where it's defendable and there's nothing like it on the market and that kind of stuff. Right. I've been around it a fair amount, and I've read 40 of them or something, different ones over the years, different the different ones out there just to make sure, because when you're designing plastics, you need to make sure that there's nothing that's already patented like it.
Right.
And if there is, you need to know exactly how it reads so that you don't infringe on their patent. And so that's one of the reasons I've read so many of them is that you just want to make sure that you have something that's not, you don't want to get into a situation where you market something, spend all that money on a mold, all the inventory, and then go sell it, and then you get a letter from somebody saying, "Hey, you just infringed on our patent and you owe us a whole bunch of money."
Yeah.
That's not good.
Right.
So luckily I've stayed away from that, and our manufacturer, they know pretty much all of them. They know pretty much all the soft plastics patents that are out there. Zoom has had a bunch for a while. Braxton McNaught had with the net bait with the Paca stuff had one for a while. That's gone away because they last for 25 years and then they're gone. The functional patents. So that's the way that they operate.
I guess I would like to have been in the office that day when Gary Yamamoto saw a Sharpie and thought, I wonder. Because I remember when the Senko first came out, I hated it.
Yeah.
But I was fishing it wrong.
Everybody did it first.
I hated it, and it wasn't until I was at the pond.
Most people still fish it wrong.
And I had actually gone to Mel's, and I said he had a pack of black blue flake, and I said, well, let me give these another shot. I saw Roland fishing them on TV, and I was like, well, let me try it. Let me give it another shot. Took it to the pond. I was throwing it out there in the pond. Nothing. And there was grass all the way around it. And I saw a bass bust right up in the grass. It was maybe about that deep where the edge of the pond was. So I threw that Senko over there instantly. And so I was like, okay. So I kept throwing around the grass, and I went through that 10-pack quick. I mean, I was lighting them, melting them back together. I caught 35 bass that night, or that evening. And that's when it dawned on me, you've got to have cover. Not so much shallow, or not so much, you don't throw it out there in the middle of the lake or whatever and catch fish. It's got to have cover. So that's why. Then I fell in love with it after that. Once I realized, but you don't know. I mean,
we all have those. Yeah, we all have those.
So I'm guessing the D-bomb is probably your longest running bait.
Yeah, that's been our home run for the longest time, and now the Spunk Shad outsells the D-bomb.
Now that came from
Hog Farmer. Yeah. So
are they still in business? Or?
Yep. We licensed their mold. We licensed to use the mold and use the Spunk Shad name. So we have a good relationship with those guys. We pay them a royalty to do that. We wanted to do a bait that was similar to that, so we beat on them for about a year and a half, and they finally agreed to do a licensing deal.
Yes, I think they pretty much took off. I think it was Instagram, wasn't it? And that kind of what put them on.
Yep, that's what Scott. He's the one that owns Hog Farmer, and he did a lot of content creation and a lot of stuff, just pumping the baits, and now so they're.
And Matt had an episode on Tactical Bassin with them. I'm sure that's when it exploded.
Yeah, so they have a relationship with Tactical, and that really helped them because they like their rigs, and they're from the same part of the country. So when Matt and Tim moved east, they live like 5 miles from Hog Farmer is in Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. So they're right there in the same. So now they become friends and stuff.
Yeah, that was a smart move than a move what they did, because that puts them around lakes that are completely different from what they did in California.
Yeah.
Because I don't think two lakes are the same in Tennessee. I mean, they're all highland lakes, but still they're amazing.
California's got some amazing fisheries.
Yeah.
They just didn't like living in California because of California.
Well, I don't blame them.
Not the fisheries. The fisheries out there are phenomenal. They've got some amazing
and I think Matt
fisheries.
still goes back once in a while and guides.
Well, they do tours. Like they'll do trips and go fish various places every year.
Yeah.
They do some trips up north, trips in the south, trips out west.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember back when Matt would hardly even talk on the thing because he was just so shy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's just, that's several years back or whatever, which I look at back some of my stuff too. I was the same way.
Yeah.
But, it's, obviously I had to strain to hear myself talk. And it's kind of like with Matt, the old stuff, you had to sit there and strain and listen to him. But that's all the questions I had for you, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming by.
I appreciate you making
your
day for me, man.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully everybody got a good little deal. I'll do my intro and stuff.
That's right.
Before I leave, but
don't comment any questions. If I see them, I'll try to answer them, and if not, just jump on my channel and comment on any of my videos, and I'll answer those questions as well. But I appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah, of course he's got a whole lot more viewers than I do.
All good, man. I'm
just about to hit 2,000, which I never thought I'd even get 200.
It'll just keep rolling.
I don't know. I hope it will, because I love getting information out there. I just talked to a guy not too long ago in the comments from Norway.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow,
Norway?
I mean, I've had Japan, I've had all kinds of stuff. So I go, that's just crazy, man. That's just the people you meet on there. But again, I appreciate you making your day for it.
Yes, sir.
Could I get a tour? Without cameras. Without cameras.
Of course, yeah.
Awesome. Y'all don't get to see that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, John Cruz, what can you say? A super nice guy. Love talking to him. Hope to do another interview down the road with some more stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, remember, new techniques are trendy, but bass never change. May the Father bless you, keeping you Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.